What's going on, guys? How are we doing tonight? And Nocturne, man, if I am reading with this correct, was that you with the sub 9:45? It's 9:45. No way, man. How are you doing with the prime sub? Four months prime sub. It's good to see you, man. I hope you're doing all right. I really do. Yeah. I hope you're doing good, man. Star set, how's it going, man? How are you? How is the day treating you? We're back at it. I'm glad to see you again. I know you were here last night helping us with the tier list with when we did Amber, Amethyst, and Emerald. And tonight we're gonna rock the last three colors. Um, and then uh we might go back and kind of look at the other stuff because I know there's been other cards in Amber, Amethyst, and Emerald that have been released today. So we might go back and check those out as well, just to get an idea of what's going on with there and what updates we've seen. So hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing better now that I get to say hey to you. But no, everything's going well, man. Just got back from the deployment last. I think I've been home uh a little over a week now, a week and a couple days. So it's good to be back. Gonna start the streaming thing going. Gonna just start going pretty regular with it. I don't know if we'll be doing a lot of back-to-back days. Probably more like a 3 times a week kind of thing. But we'll see. We're gonna test the waters and see how things go. But definitely excited to be streaming again. So and I don't know. I there's just some reasons, and I'm definitely excited to be streaming again. Though, I'd stopped streaming in the first place for, to kind of focus on YouTube creation and everything, and then there were a lot of things that I missed about streaming. So now that YouTube's kind of in a good place, and I can start using streaming to work with YouTube and kind of push things to each other. And yeah, we can start streaming again. And I'm really excited for it because I get to talk to you guys. That's one of the biggest downfalls of YouTube is that you're kind of just talking to yourself. And then if people talk in the comments, but you don't get to talk to them actively. But thanks, Star. I appreciate it, man. I'm very, very happy to be back. Definitely missed a lot of things about being home. As you can imagine, a lot of people, it can be hard going away just for a weekend. So being back after 6 months is definitely almost 7 months is definitely a very, very happy thing. Shout out to the people in the Army because they do year-long deployments, and that'd be a lot. I think one of the hardest things of deployments, besides the easy to see ones like being away from your family, is that life kind of just continues happening while you're gone, and then you don't really recognize it because you're gone, right? And you're working a bunch. I worked, like, there was 3 months in a row I worked over like 420 hours, and so you kind of forget that life goes on, and then you get back and you realize, wow, there's been a lot of life that's happened, a lot of movies that came out, TV shows, just construction, road stuff. My local community has gotten a lot better at Lorcana, so that happened while I was gone. So just a lot of things. So very happy to be back and getting into things and going well. What's going on, Christian? I don't know if we're gonna need a 30-minute review on Mowgli. I think Mowgli is gonna go a little bit faster than that one, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to talk about that one. We will definitely get back to Amber so we can highlight that. I figured we'd get through the other colors first, though, and then go back to what's been added since then. Of course, we have the Mowgli and the champions to go along with this Emerald champion over here. So there's a lot of cards that were released today that's definitely worth talking about. So definitely looking forward to getting to those. But yeah, I think we can go ahead and don't need this screen. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and kind of get started. All right. I know Stitch Hawks. I need to make that bigger. It's, at least for me. Hey, it's a BB. What's going on, man? Killer killer review today. That was absolutely outstanding. What was it called? Bolt or lightning or Zeus or someone get me my stick. What was it called? I don't know if it's on Lorebot yet, but stellar review. That was super cool. We've been as we do these as I've been doing this kind of tier list. We started yesterday with these colors. If I saw the review video, I kind of shouted them out, and yours is definitely one of the better ones that we've seen. So really good job on that, man. And I really liked how you included a lot of like the community, especially at the beginning, including he hurled his thunderbolt. Thank you. Including their like comments and stuff. I thought that was a really cool touch as well. So just really really good job overall. So what I'm gonna do though is we're gonna go over here. But yeah, Habibi, I am back, man. Thankfully, very excited to be back. And I think we'll start with Steel. I think why not? Habibi, you're our motivation. We'll start with Steel tonight. Since it's not on Lorebot yet, I'll pull it from the Discord and we'll do it that way. And yeah, we'll start with Steel. I know Stitchhawks is gonna be joining us. He kind of mentioned. Let's see real quick. Want to see Steel for sure. All right, we'll all right. We'll wait because Stitchhawks did ask for Steel specifically, so we'll wait till Stitchhawks gets here. All right. We'll wait till he gets here because he specifically asked in the Discord when I'd be going live to talk about Steel in particular. So yeah, we'll wait for Stitchhawks, Jeremy, especially because he was with us all day yesterday. So for today though, I guess we can just go ahead and start with whatever comes up next, which hopefully is not Steel. It should be Sapphire, right? No, it's Ruby. That's right, our Diablo. So what's going on, Markoth? How are you doing, man? You're Christian. Does your head still hurt because of the? Are you saying your head still hurts because of the Wordle? We do a Wordle in the Discord that comes up, and today was a tough one. Today was a little bit of a tougher one. Definitely got me by surprise. Except we have our boy Saddest Boy here that he cheated. Like no, I'm sure he didn't. But yeah, so we do the Wordle. We're on a 5 of 6 day streak. We already missed a day, but that's okay. We're on a 5-day streak, running hard. But let's go ahead and get started. I have a snack for today. Have you guys? This is another. I was talking about things kind of going on while you're gone. Have you guys tried these Reese's Oreos? Oh my God! Like these things are phenomenal, and I hate it. I hate it so much that they're so good. My wife and I, we freeze our Reese's. So you put this thing in the freezer, and it is just chef's kiss. And also the Reese's like the Oreo Reese's. I like these better, but my wife definitely likes the Oreo Reese's more. But yeah, just delicious. So don't mind me. I need to grab some in the States. They don't have them in Canada? Man, Canada's a loose cannon right now. I'm glad you guys have mail again. I heard you guys didn't get mail for a hot minute because of like a protest or a strike. I'm glad you guys are getting mail. I had a giveaway, and one of the guys the giveaway was for a Fable Trove, and it took a month for him to get it. And I ordered from a store that was in Canada, I think. So I was like, man, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what took so long. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. We didn't get any mail for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So, but let's actually review some cards. And first up is Diablo. And this one's really exciting because I think this was kind of one of the earlier cards we saw where we started seeing these buffed stats, especially on vanilla cards. First thing that comes to mind is everybody, we saw some of those Toy Story memes where it's like, I don't need you anymore, and Andy's like throwing away Woody. But we saw it with Smee, Mr. Smee, and so Diablo's kind of filling that role now, that 3/3/2. I will say there are some differences, right? Straight to A. And that's just it. He is definitely, by no stretch of the imagination, a Smee. Because Smee, yes, that one damage every turn could be rough, but that represented so much. Like people couldn't let that Smee live, right? Because of our everyone's favorite card in the history of forever in Lorcana, Rapunzel. If anything, when I saw a Smee and a Rapunzel in hand, like I was happy with that opening hand because that meant almost guaranteed Rapunzel value to lore, great challenger, all of these things, and he was inkable. Like I will never be convinced that in the history of the game will we see a better 2-drop than what Mr. Smee was. Now we'll see probably cards as strong or stronger than Mr. Smee, but during the time that Mr. Smee was around, I do not think there was ever or will ever be a 2-drop that had so much impact. Okay, wait. There was Bucky, right? But no, Bucky doesn't matter. A 2-drop that didn't deserve to be banned, right? Or errated. But Diablo, I agree with you, Markoth. I think this is definitely an A-tier card. It's everything that Ruby wants. It's a good statted card. It quests really well. One of the things Ruby wants to do, especially Ruby Steel, has always been challenging to get that lore. But now at Diablo, even if you can't challenge, it's not the end of the world because Diablo's questing for 2. Like, so that's a really big deal. If Jeremy was here, not even Bucky was not even Bucky was better. All right. The other thing though is Diablo is an ally, so if you run it in Ruby Steel and you do run it with Scar, you do have the opportunity to draw 4. So we got to point that out for Jeremy because he would definitely let us know. But Diablo's a great Ruby card. I expect a Ruby aggro deck soon. Yeah, I mean, Diablo's one of those cards that I think you just throw in every Ruby deck, almost like when we were building purple back in the day. You auto include Magic Broom and you auto include Chernobog's Followers, and I think you just start off auto including Diablo, and the majority of the time it stays in. Like unless you're just that hurting on uninkables, and you can argue there's a better uninkable for the deck, but I don't know if I mean, a 2-cost 3-3-2 is pretty majestic. Like that is pretty amazing, and that answers a lot of the problems that Ruby Steel has had in the past. But it's not even Ruby Steel now, and we're going to look at a lot of these Ruby cards where there's more stuff going for them, where there's just a lot of Ruby that's going to be plausible this set. So moving on, we've got Peter Pan. I made a fun little Twitter post about this one. Everybody's been talking about all this power creep and everything, and yes, sure, whatever. But Peter Pan, which is really cool. There's a lot of things I like about this card. It's a 3-cost inkable, 1/3/2, and the fact that it is Peter Pan, because we also have another card that is just exactly the same thing as this in Tinkerbell, right? The Amethyst Tinkerbell, which is also a 1/3/2 evasive. So the only difference is Peter Pan is a hero versus Tinkerbell is an ally and a fairy. Fairy is a big deal. Ally also big deal. Hero does work with the what's our boy Philatides, right? So there's that. But yes, it is a Ruby Minnie Mouse Surfer, right? And that's what my Twitter post was about, was just comparing Minnie Mouse Surfer to the Peter Pan because they're the same stat line. 1/3/2, hero, 3-cost inkable. As far as the card goes, I think it's not bad. Like it's still, you can build an aggro deck with this. Minnie Mouse repeat. What's going on, Paul? Yo, what's going on? The Diablo is great. Uninkable isn't too bad because there really isn't a bad time in the game. Exactly. So, but yeah, Minnie Mouse Surfer, before I started playing the game, which was set 4, I believe I heard someone talk about how Minnie Mouse was like actually a pretty relevant card in the meta for Constructed, but I just wasn't around for that set. Now the issue is there's a lot of evasive hate now in the set, so I don't. It's definitely not S or A, and the argument's going to be, is it B or C? If we look at Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell never saw any play. Purple Steel was better off going a different direction than running the Tinkerbell package. It just was a little bit too slow, and then Into the Unknown just took care of that really easily. So that didn't really help anything. Because there's just so much evasive hate. Now, maybe if you're building an aggro deck, you could go a 1-drop into Diablo, into Peter Pan, and that's all really good. So, but again, I don't know. I mean, the thing is there's a lot of reckless cards, right? There's a lot of challenge stuff. So if you're playing these cards that are all questing for 2, your opponent's going to have to turn their stuff sideways to take it out. So that maybe helps you to set up that challenger stuff. 1-3-2 evasive. They made Brawl specifically to deal with characters like Minnie Mouse. Yeah, Minnie Mouse was massive in set 2, warped the meta. Yeah, so like I said, I had heard it was pretty good. I just never saw it. But I think we can go with a low B tier for it. And I think that's appropriate because, again, one of the things is that a lot of the times, Ruby decks, these Ruby Challenger decks, will get these cards down that say, when I challenge you, I gain 2 lore. Or if I banish you in a challenge, I gain 2 lore. But the problem is Ruby's never had a reason for your opponent to turn their, worry about attacking you or turning their character sideways. Like, Ruby Steel, could just build this board that says, when I challenge you, I'm going to gain a bunch of lore, but your opponent could just build a board and never turn sideways. And there's nothing Ruby Steel could do about it. There's a couple cards that can challenge ready characters, but it wasn't that big of a deal on top of draw being an issue. But now if you're running something like the 2-drop Diablo, the 3-drop Peter Pan, your opponent's going to have to turn sideways to challenge these characters. So I think B is good. Anything with two or more lore early on is going to make your opponent have to turn their card sideways. And I think that's going to that could have an impact on the game. Speaking of Tinkerbell, which we were just talking about, we have a new Tinkerbell, a 3/1/1 ally fairy, a 1-cost inkable vanilla. And again, not an awful card, right? It can challenge if you need it to challenge. Having 3 strength that early is pretty good. Again, in a deck that wants to challenge. That is what Ruby Steel has been setting up for the longest time. Trying to challenge. So now you run a Tinkerbell into a Diablo, into a Peter Pan. In turn 4, maybe you drop Shere Khan or something that gains you lore when you challenge something or when your characters challenge something. So I think Tinkerbell, it's a good 1-drop. That's just it. I think Tinkerbell is a good 1-drop that trades into anything that's going to be trading into her early on. And I think that's fine as well. So I think that B tier is perfectly fine for this vanilla card. It just A tier. Okay. I think this card is great. The 1 less health doesn't really I agree. I think 1 health is perfectly fine on it. And maybe you're right, because if we do look at cards, off the top of my head, the one that always comes to mind is going to be the Moana that can't challenge unless you have a pirate character down. So if we look at 1-drops, we'll remove set 10, right? And can we just do characters, keywords, classifications? I'm sure there's a way. Keyword, character. Nope. It doesn't matter. So, and there is the Floodborn shift as well. So that is a thing. So the Tinkerbell shift line. But otherwise, what have they been running? They run, you could run Mulan to cycle. You have the 1-drop Mulan that you guys can't see right now because of the screen. There we go. But Moana was the big one, right? That challenges really well. You can't challenge, right, when you play Moana unless you have a captain in play. So maybe A tier is appropriate. Maybe you're right. Maybe that is the way to go because of what it enables. And then also, you do have to worry about the Tinkerbell. When I'm playing against Ruby Steel and I see them play the Tinkerbell What is it? What is that Tinkerbell? And I see them play this Tinkerbell on turn 2. You always have to respect that the shift Tinkerbell could come down. And what's that going to do? How could they use that? So yeah, maybe that is a good argument in that area. So I think A can work. So all right. Next up we've got Mother Gothel, another 1-drop character coming in. And I think, did Mother Gothel have... Oh, wait a second. I didn't even know this was a card. Mother Gothel, we'll come back to you. I didn't even know this was a reveal. So, all right. So we do have a different shift. It doesn't have to just be the Steel Floodborn shift anymore. We have the 5-cost Inkable 5/3/1 Shift 3 Ally Fairy. When you play this character, exert chosen opposing character with 2 attack or less. All right. Well, this is... Wow. See, this is what Ruby Steel needs more of. Because again, like I was saying, if you're playing against Ruby Steel, you can kind of just sit there and never turn your character sideways until you're representing Lorthel on board. So, yeah, Bearded Cat, this was the Floodborn I was talking about. Yeah. So this is actually a really, really big deal because this Tinkerbell now can turn things sideways. And that is big. That is getting you things with your Mushu and all these other characters that gain lore. I mean, you can play Tinkerbell on 1, Calhoun on 2, and then shift Tinkerbell on 3, and Calhoun gets 2 lore, just like that. So that is really nice. Like, this is a really cool effect. This is an A tier for me. For sure. I think this is a really exciting card. Yeah, that definitely makes that Tinkerbell A tier. So I wonder what I'm looking for S tier for Ruby. Anything with card draw, of course, is going to be there. But let's grab Mother Gothel really quick. Mother Gothel, 1-drop villain sorcerer, 1-drop inkable, 2/1/1. When we look at this Mother Gothel, we have, if a character was banished this turn, this character gets +2 attack. Interesting. So, okay, I don't know. I guess the question is there a shift target that we care about? No. I mean, there's the green one, which could be good. If we include set 10 really quick, have we seen? No, we have not seen a shift target. So I don't think you run this over something like the Tinkerbell or the Mulan or Moana even, because Moana is still a card that's just gaining lore and doing things and then trading well. So I think it still is a 1-cost card, which can be fine. Like, having access to more 1-drops and a 1-drop that can turn into a 4/1 can be exciting. But I don't think you're ever really going to catch anyone by surprise with this card. I think this would be like a low B tier card for me, as far as, because yeah, I think the artwork is great. Malia Iwart killed it, like dominated with the artwork on this one. Like, this just looks really good. But yeah, I think B tier for Mother Gothel. Maybe C tier could work as well. But again, you're not ever going to be super upset about a 1-drop for Ruby Steel. It's just, I think there's just better 1-drops. Paul, Mother Gothel is C or D tier for me. It's useless in so many situations. C unless there's a good shift. All right. Well, we got the majority saying C or D. So I agree. I think, like I said, I was thinking super low B tier. So she can start us off with C tier. And I do think that's appropriate. Again, if we see a shift target, she becomes a little bit more playable for sure. We just have to see a shift target for her. for her to really be impactful because, like I said, you're not surprising anyone by turning her into a 4-1. That's a pretty easy read. Star set agrees. C. Okay, sweet. We're on the right track. I got one more bite of my Reese's after this, and I'll quit eating on camera. So, leave me alone with my delicious dessert. So, all right. Next up, we've got 3-cost Hermes 3/3/1 with Rush. It is really important to note that he is a deity, and this matters for a couple things. There is a card that got revealed. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head that banishes deities. So there is that. But we also got this Hurled His Thunderbolt today that also gives a deity challenger +2. We'll talk about that later. But a 3-cost Inkable with Rush is a big deal. Like that. Wow. Okay. We got S tier, S tier, S tier. Lumiere with Hermes is Mim Fox. Lumiere on turn 2. Wow. So this is what we're looking for S tier. All right. That's interesting. I mean, so I guess the thing, okay, so there is this, right? Hermes doesn't have to be played on turn 3. He's power projection, just existing warps the game. And that is true because you have to respect that it can come down. But why I'm hesitant, and I think I'm going to put it in S tier. I am clearly outvoted on this island because everybody here said S tier except for me. Is the fact that Red doesn't suffer from getting characters down early that are already doing this, right? You play the Diablo on turn 2, you play Calhoun on turn 2, you play Tinkerbell on turn 1. So there's a lot of things you've already played that already have this 3 strength. I mean, even if you play Tinkerbell on 1 into Lumiere on turn 2, Tinkerbell's doing the same thing. That being said, Tinkerbell does get answered by cannons, fire the cannons very easily. So yeah, I mean, I can see it. Like it's not on the power level of Fox by any stretch of the imagination as far as what Fox enabled with goats and things like that. But I could see the hype around it, and I'm clearly outvoted, so I'll put it in S tier, and I will say it's up there. Again, I think the things that I'm looking for Ruby though, that I really want to see that would be immediate S tier for me is things like card draw or things like Tinkerbell that are letting you make it so you can actually challenge characters. And that's what I'm personally looking for, but everybody else in here. But Markoth, the line that I'm excited about is turn 1 Mulan, turn 2 Powerline, turn 3 Hermes, and Powerline sings Chiba to heal Mulan and Hermes and kill another character. Chiba is that this one? Yeah, can't hold it back. Chiba. Chiba. Chiba sounds like the dog. Like is it a Shiba or something? I don't know. But okay. That is really exciting. Like that is a really cool line actually, to be able to do something like that. You're definitely going to take control of the board doing something like that. So I can definitely understand that as well. And it's not unheard of to do it. I mean, it only takes 4 cards to do that. Worst case scenario, you don't even get Mulan. You get just the Goofy into Hermes, and then you sing the song with Goof, and it still feels fine. Or sorry, Powerline, and it still feels fine to do that. So, oh boy, just wait for the new 6 drop that got revealed today. I couldn't even tell you. I've been busy. We got to spend a bunch of time at maintenance today doing car work. So, but Goliath over here, moving on from Hermes, our first S tier for Ruby. So Goliath 5/5/1 hero Gargoyle. Whenever one of your Gargoyle characters challenges another character, gain 1 lore. And then, of course, Stone by Day. If you have 3 or more cards in your hand, this character can't ready. We talked about Stone by Day yesterday. I don't consider this an issue at all for Ruby. The only time this becomes an issue is if your opponent's building decks to directly counter Gargoyles. Things like You're Welcome, Beyond the Horizon, stuff like that. But looking at Goliath, besides Stone by Day, whenever one of your Gargoyle characters challenges another character, gain 1 lore. So that is important. When we look at just Gargoyles in general, man, what is wrong with this thing today? It's just being silly. Gargoyles. There we go. No. Oh, it doesn't want me to push enter. Okay, so when we look at Gargoyles, at least on Lorebot, we don't have a lot of them yet. I know this is missing a few, but again, challenging a character, gaining 1 lore is great. 5/5 is a good stat line. 4 cost is great. You're getting a 5/5 on turn 4. That's pretty good. When we look at other 5/5s they might play, we have the turn 3 Prince John that takes a damage every turn. So I think that this card is good. Yeah. Everybody, we got A tier. Yeah, exactly. I think this is definitely an A tier as well, and I'm very happy to put it there. Again, even if like the 5/5 on turn 4 is just a great stat line, but also now whenever one of your Gargoyle characters challenges another character, gain 1 lore is really good. You just have to, again, we need effects like Tinkerbell that can let you exert characters or let you challenge ready characters. So that is going to be an important piece of the puzzle when you're building Ruby Steel to try and be an actual meta contender. So how do you get around those things? Because one way to get around the draw issue, right? One way to get around the draw issue, I guess it wouldn't be Ruby Steel, but you build red purple and do a challenge deck with that, with the Demona. That could be a good way to get around the draw issue. Just use the purple draw, because everything in purple draws a card, because that's just life for Lorcana players. So I think, yeah, so you don't even need to, way overstated. It's crazy. In the right deck, you don't even need to turn him sideways. Exactly. You don't. So I think red purple Gargoyles will be tier 1. Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of arguments that red purple is going to be coming back this set with a vengeance after not being super playable this last set. Also, David, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by and having some fun with us. So next up, though, is another Gargoyle. So we got Brooklyn coming in here. Get back to our screen. Brooklyn is a 2-cost Inkable, our first easy to come down 2-cost, 3/2/1 evasive. When you have 3 or more characters in your hand, this character can't ready. So this card is interesting because you're not going to get to ready him for a minute. But when you play him, he is readied. So you play him and he just sits there. And that's perfectly fine, because him sitting there is preventing your opponent from doing anything with their evasive characters. So that's a big deal as well. So, and I think that's important to remember. Just because he can't ready doesn't mean that's a bad thing. The other thing to keep in mind is, let's be honest, he's a 3/2. He's probably not going to be in a position to ready. He's going to be banished when he trades into something, majority of the time, unless he's trading into something like a Peter Pan. So that being said, stops Dumbo is the immediate answer. You play Lumiere on turn 2, Brooklyn comes down on turn, or you play Brooklyn on turn 3, Lumiere on turn 2, whatever way you want to do it. It can now clear genies. So the genie just sits there until your opponent can play Elsa. So that's something that is a big deal. And then if you're playing red purple, if your opponent plays Elsa into Brooklyn, you just drop your Elsa into their Elsa or whatever traded into it and clear that. And then now you have damage sitting around for Belle, if Belle is even still a card that's playable in the next set. So a lot of things going on. I think he's right up there with his boy Goliath. I think he's an A tier card. Um, yeah, man, I'm glad. Hey, glad to be back too, man. Thank you very much. So it's good to see you all, you guys, again. So hopefully make it to some events this year. You know, I didn't get to go to a lot of events last year, getting ready for the deployment. So hopefully this year make it to some events. Not starting with DLC Milwaukee, unfortunately, but hopefully some more than in the past. But yes, I agree. Fantastic card. I think it's a really good one. A tier for sure. These gargoyles are just shaping up to be some phenomenal cards. And speaking of gargoyles, we have our girl Alisa Maza. I couldn't tell you. Storybone Hero Detective 431. 3 costs uninkable. While you have two or more other characters in play with 5 or more attack, this character gets +2. So this is an effect. We know gargoyles are highly statted characters. Demona's a 6/5. This Goliath is a 5/5. We know that Ruby is not going to have an issue getting the high statted characters. So there is that. But I don't know how much you care about it, right? Because she's a 4/3/1, so she's going to trade fine, but she takes a lot to set up. And is it worth the space when we can just run some of these other cards that are questing for 2 that are just overstated cards, possibly that aren't uninkable? So I don't know. I don't know how much you need her to be. I don't know how much you need her. I don't know how much she's actually going to see play. Her questing for 3 potentially is a big deal, but again, if you'd have to play her on turn 3, and then she's just going to sit there forever, because turn 4 you could drop Goliath, and then turn 5 you drop another high stated character, and then she can quest for 3, but she has to be alive still to do that. So it's a win more, probably B tier for me. Alisa is B tier for me. I feel like A in a gargoyle deck. Alisa is not worth it in play. Payoff isn't great. C tier at best. I compare this card to nerfed Flynn Rider. You're talking about the 2-cost red Flynn Rider that was all the rage for red purple, I'm assuming. I don't know. I think while you have 2 or other characters in play with 5 attack or more, this character gets +2. I think she has to be C tier. And that's because she's just so easy to answer, right? If you play this on turn 3, it's probably not gonna live that long. It creates bell value for Blurple. It's easy to remove with spells. Strength of Raging Fire, the new Steel spell. He hurled his Thunderbolt. So I'm gonna go with C tier, because I just think there's better cards you could be playing either later in the game when you want to play this, or early in the game that's going to actually have an impact on the game. So Alisa is. Hey Zoro, what's going on, brother? How are you doing, man? I hope you're doing really well. Welcome back. Bronx is better followed with Donald Duck Champion and the Dog Gargoyles, and that Dog Gargoyle is bonkers. We will get to all those soon, I hope, because I don't remember what Bronx is off the top of my head. So we got Aladdin though. I do remember seeing this one, and I think this is a pretty cool thing. So 4/4 boost 1, again, really big fan of the boost mechanic. And then Reckless, this character can't quest and must challenge each turn if able. And then only the Bold. While there's a card under this character, your characters with Reckless gain 1 lore. So really cool boost effect. In the past, Ruby has had a lot of Reckless characters, a lot of cards. The biggest one that comes to mind is, of course, the Maui, right? And Maui Hero to Wall, Reckless. And sometimes you play it and it just sits there, and it was no denying it was a phenomenal card, absolutely just massive for the decks that played it. but sometimes it just kind of sat there, especially if it didn't have a song to sing or you didn't want it to trade, but it had to. So I like what Aladdin is capable of doing. The other thing is he's a 4/4. Like, he is a 4/4 on turn 3. I think that is a big deal on its own. Like, that's a great stat line. And then the fact that he can gain that 1 lore if you boost him. If you don't want him to have the reckless, is great. He's going to trade into anything that does trade into him early on. And then he just works with your other characters with reckless. I am curious what we're looking at for reckless right now. So not a lot going on, right, with reckless right now. We still have Gaston. It does counter things like Louis and John Silver, so that is pretty cool. Inkable makes this great. That's true. Hey, Stitchhawks, what's going on, man? You changed your name. Were you watching on Twitch last night? Because I think it said Jeremy yesterday. But we waited for Steel. We were gonna start with Steel, and then I said, you know what? We're gonna wait for Jeremy. So. But yeah, I don't know. I like its effect. I think its effect is cool. We got a couple A tiers. It's inkable, right? So that is something that is extremely relevant because if you, I mean, yeah, I'm fine with putting him in there because he is a 4/4. Like, I think, yeah, Mulan, the red steel Mulan right over here is reckless as well. During your turn, this character gains evasive. This character can challenge ready characters. So all of those things are really good as well. So name change finally. All right. And then what's going on? Krobs81. I'm pretty sure. Now, here's the funny thing. I don't know who you are in real life, man. Like, I need to figure out who everybody's Discord names are. For those of you that don't know, the Mad Hatter's Discord, which you were, oh, what's going on, man? Which you were all more than welcome to join. Maybe someone can drop a. I'll do that right now for anyone that's not in there. A lot of my locals are in here as well. So, but that's only a more recent thing that they all joined because we had a Facebook page, and I just don't know anyone's Discord names yet. So, but next up we have Lady. Dude, Zorro. My wife's trying to beckon the dogs, but be quiet about it, and they're just not caring that she's here for them. You want to say hi? No? Okay.
I'm in my jam jams.
Oh, she's in her jammies, so no. That's my treat, everybody. So.
Cody James!
Zorro, I had no idea that you were I Am Legend. I really didn't this whole time. And you've been here since the very beginning of forever. When I first started streaming, I had no idea that you were I Am Legend. I will be completely honest. So that's, anyways, next up we have the 5-cost uninkable Lady Tremaine 5/4/2 with boost 2. And whenever this character quests, if you've put a card under her this turn, you may play an action with cost 5 or less from your discard for free. Then put that action card on the bottom of your deck instead of in your discard. So that's so much reading. Like, I've seen Yu-Gi-Oh cards where you have to like pull out a magnifying glass to read them, and I feel like we're getting dangerously close. So whenever this character quests, if you've put a card under her this turn, you may play an action with cost 5 or less from your discard for free. Then put that action card on the bottom of your deck instead of into your discard. Whenever this character quests, if you put a card under her this turn. So the first thing that comes to mind is Dragonfire, right? Because Dragonfire got revealed as a card, so as a reprint. So that's the first thing that comes to mind is, I mean, okay, Dreamborn doesn't have it in the sets yet. Where is it? Oh, because it's under characteristic. Is it one word? Nope. Fire. it's just going to be difficult, isn't it? Yeah, Dragonfire, banish chosen character. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. So Lady Tremaine works really well with that. One thing that is really important is it's for her ability to work, you have to boost every single time. So that is important, right? This now, what's nice about this card is you can boost in the same. No, it's whenever this character quests. So this card is difficult to actually get off because other boost abilities you can do in the same turn. Like they don't have to drive first, but Lady Tremaine has to drive first to be able to use her effect, and that gets difficult. The Max Goof package already does this, right, for green, and Max Goof has seen Zero play this set. Like, we just haven't been able to unlock that. It's still, that being said, it's still missing a lot of the songs that it needs for to be effective. But I think Lady Tremaine is just expensive because even later in the game, let's say you get her down on turn 5, how many ways can your opponent get rid of her? There's a lot of them. And then meanwhile, to do it, so let's say you play her on turn 5, turn 6 you play Dragonfire, and then turn 6 you also can't boost her in the same turn as you play Dragonfire. So you can't even do that. So yeah, I personally think that she's sitting in C tier, dangerously close to D tier, just because it's so difficult to get her ability off. Like, you're not going to be able to get her ability off for a hot minute. Now, there is the ability to do other cards. Like, it doesn't have to just be Dragonfire, but again, okay, so new babies. Yeah, babies. The Zeus does take care of it. So Paul's saying Lady Tremaine is very strong but slow. Yeah, and that's just it. Like, she is so slow. She's extremely strong. Like, no doubt about it. 5-4 stat line's perfectly fine. 2 cost or questing for 2 is great, and her ability is really strong. But again, I'm gonna go with C tier for her. Her ability is too strong to put her in D tier. But if you didn't have to quest, right? If you didn't have to quest, it'd be different. But the fact that she has to quest is just that's a pretty big deal for me. So good in Sapphire Ruby, that's true. So I think it's worse than B. I think it costs too much. C and D, yeah. So Chris, I don't know about these boost cards. If you can boost for free, that will be great, but do you really want to be wasting your turn on boost a card? I don't know. Thoughts? Yeah, so we talked about boost quite a bit yesterday. I'm a huge fan of it. I really like the mechanic because of the different lines that it gives you. And we are seeing cards that do let you boost cards for free. Like when you play this character, you can boost another character and things like that. So there is a lot of that, but I also just like that it can free up decisions in a way. Like it's kind of like an extra draw because that card is now multiple cards in one, right? Because Lady Tremaine is not just a 5/4/2, she's a 5/4/2 that can also bring back an action from your discard. So maybe it's worth doing that to bring back that Dragonfire over just playing another 5-cost card or a 2-cost card or whatever it may be. So personally, big fan of boost. I think it's a really cool mechanic, but again, I'm a huge fan of anything that gives us more lines and methods of going out into the game. So, but next stop is Olympus. 2-cost action with, if you have a character with 5 or more attack in play, you pay 2 less to play this action. Ready chosen character. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. The next time they challenge another character this turn, gain 1 lore. Ready chosen character. Okay, so you can challenge something or you can sing something, whatever it may be. You get to essentially play this card for free because you can now have 5/5s down as early as turn 3 for Ruby if you play the Prince John. So that's a big deal. And the next time they challenge another character this turn, gain 1 lore. So this is a really big deal. Like this It costs nothing. Ready chosen character. That's kind of cool as well. Because what you can, oh man, what's really exciting about this card is you could also ready your opponent's Tiana, like, and that's pretty nasty. So you have Goliath down on turn 4, and then turn 5 you play this for free and ready your opponent's Tiana, and then you just take out their entire board when they were really needing that Tiana to protect their entire board. So that's really nasty. It's kind of like that spin effect. But other than that, we've got a lot of people saying S tier. Yeah, Chris, I love this card. I see lots of uses with it. I think it can be very strong with Maui. Also, do you know if the Stone by Day ability can be turned off by this? Oh, so you mean this one. If you have 3 or more cards in your hand, this character can't ready. I don't think, no. My first thought is that this, like, readying like, you can't ready them if you have more than 3 or more cards in hand. So that means LeFou, that means Next Stop Olympus, and I could be wrong. Like, I could be wrong in that. So you guys, if you guys let me know on that one, we could do this fancy judge thing here. Stone by Day ability. Can cards ready them like LeFou and Next Stop Olympus if you have 3 or more cards in hand? And I know you guys can't see it, but I'm asking. We have a couple really good judges in the Discord, so I like to come to them and kind of get some clarifying answers sometimes. So, but yeah, so Vince says it can, but I don't know. Stone by Day makes it so you can't ready the character no matter what. It doesn't say at the beginning of your turn, so no. Hey, what's going on, Dragon Lundberg? We're just doing some Ruby cards. We're stuck on Next Stop Olympus. Kind of a judge question. Can cards that ready characters ignore the Stone by Day effect? And that's a good point, David. It doesn't say at the beginning, so I agree with that. Like, if it said at the beginning of your turn, like, that's different. But they're saying, like, this card is saying, Stone by Day says, if you have 3 or more cards in hand, it cannot ready. And so I think that's exactly what happens here. So Simba can't ready them either, if I remember correctly. We have one more place that we could go really quick. Bear with me. If we go to 20 lore and ruling questions, has the question been asked in here? Because we have our wonderful Googly Glimmers is the new head judge for 20 lore. Set 10 theory. Aha, here's the question. So Googly Glimmers has not answered this one. Well, let's see what we got. So if I have 3 cards in hand and an Exerted Gargoyle, can I play Fan the Flames to ready them as I've now gone? Oh, that's not it, though. That's not the question. I don't know. I personally think the answer is no for this one. I'm with you guys that said no, and I could be wrong, but we still need to rate this card. So that's where we're at right now, Dragon, is where do we want this rate? Where do we want to rate this card? And for me, it's definitely sitting somewhere which it's either S or A, without a doubt, no question asked. But the question becomes, where does it sit? Is it an S tier card? Again, it's not. I'm going to go with A. And again, the reason I'm going with A is because, yes, it's really easy to get off. It's free to get off. You get to ready a character, which is great. So Maui Half Shark, you could ready your Maui Half Shark after challenging something, which is phenomenal. But again, if your opponent's not turning sideways, you can't do anything. Like, there's nothing for you to do because they're not turned sideways. So Next Stop Olympus doesn't do anything if our opponent is not turning sideways, or they have a bunch of excuse me, they have a bunch of evasive characters that you can't touch because you don't personally have an evasive character on the field. So I'm going with A tier for it, because it is a really great card. But again, we need cards in Ruby that can exert your characters. So if you get an Elsa down, right? Turn 6 you play, or turn 5 you play Elsa, like that can exert something, and then you can start challenging something, gain the lore, do that kind of stuff. Like, so there's possibilities. So definitely I feel very happy putting Next Up Olympus in A tier. Next up we have Dragonfire. This is weird. We haven't done a reprint yet. So yeah, oh for sure, Bearded Cat. And that's why I had to read it. If it said challenge ready charactered, like it'd be without a doubt S tier card. Like that would be absolutely massive. You get to play a card for free that says ready or exert opposing character or challenge ready character. That'd be busted. But Dragonfire, S tier artwork, right? David, and I like how they gave the dual credit for Dragonfire. Banished chosen character is great. 5 cost on Inkable. It's seen play in the past with Maui Half Shark. It's gonna see play again. We're already seeing Maui Half Shark being played in Red Purple this set for what it's worth. So I think it's just a solid B tier card. I think that's perfectly fine place to put it. Again, S tier artwork, B tier card. It's not cheap. It's not expensive. It's another S tier artwork, A tier card. So, Shark makes this A tier. Okay, so, and maybe that's just it. Like the fact that if you have this, like in Maui Half Shark, then you're getting to use this over and over again. So maybe that, and again, like hard removal is a hot commodity right now. We don't have a lot of it. We have Hades, really is kind of the big one. Strength of a Raging Fire, fire the cannons. Dragonfire comes down and says, I'll remove everything, right? I don't care what it is. As long as it doesn't have ward, I can remove it. So I think it's a solid B tier. I think it can be a high B tier, but I kind of like it sitting in B tier. Paul, Dragonfire is B or C tier, projecting out the meta. So yeah, I like it. I'm happy with B tier for now. Again, S tier artwork. That is beautiful artwork. We have a location. I always like talking about locations. I haven't seen this one yet, so bear with me. We'll turn it sideways here. We've got the Bitterwood Underground Forest. It is a 4-cost Inkable 2/7/1. Once during your turn, whenever you move a character with 5 or more here, you may draw a card. Okay, so you Prince John, right? Because you can play Prince John on turn 3. On turn 4, you can play Goliath. On turn 5, you can play the Bitterwood and move Prince John if Prince John is still alive. 7 health is still fine. Like, there's nothing really that's clearing that super early. But it does cost 4 when you're trying to play a bunch of characters. It requires 5 statted characters for it, and it does cost 2 to move those characters to it. And that is, yeah, and once per turn as well. So too expensive. Yeah, and I'm kind of there. Like, it does answer one of the questions of draw, right? That's one of the things we're looking for Ruby is draw, but at what cost? And this is a pretty big cost. Maybe if it had like 9 health, it'd be worth it. Because then it's going to be able to stick around for a while you get stuff down. I agree. If it was 1 to move, that would be appropriate. And I think 1 is perfectly fine because you can only do it once per turn. So I think 1 is perfectly acceptable because you can't abuse it, right? There's no way to abuse once during your turn. There's no getting around that. But for what it is, I think C tier for me. I think C tier is where this one's gonna have to sit, just because it is so expensive. Yes, there's a lot of cards in Ruby that is going to trigger it very easily, but But yeah, it's just really difficult. Just wait for the new Ruby Xanatos. Oh no, I probably said that wrong. I saw someone make a Twitter post about how to pronounce that correctly, and I just have a feeling that I did not pronounce that correctly. But Xanatos. But let's move forward. Oh, that's all the Ruby cards that we have on here. I know that's not all the Ruby cards though. Well, that's disappointing. Hang on. Let's see if we can get this thing set. Let's see if we can refresh this thing in a different way. So let's go ahead and bring up another tab, lorebot.inc, and add to Discord, deck sharing, card search, community tools. Okay, set images. lorebot.inc/set images. Okay, let's see if that helped at all. Because otherwise we might just go over to Dreamborn, because that makes me a little sad. That's all that's on here. Oh no. Does Dreamborn have more? All right, we're moving over to Dreamborn real quick, guys. Goofy and items move to locations for free. That is true. Like the Goofy does move things for free. Santa Toes. Was that something on the tab? Was that something on the tab that popped up? But let's do this. Let's go here. Set Whispers in the Well. Done. Oh, that really is it. Is it because that's weird? That makes me sad, actually. That makes me really sad. Man, I know there's been more red cards than that. Let's grab Donald Duck. All right, let's grab Donald Duck, throw it on here. We'll do some background remover. If you do blue-red, you could use Transport Pod to move a character. Yes, that's true as well. So let's get him straight. So we have Donald Duck, our Ruby champion. Really cool artwork on here. Lisa did a phenomenal job here. I like all of the other inks in here, right? We got Emerald, Amethyst, Ruby, Amber, like that's really cool. And then a lore symbol. So really cool artwork. But 4/4, 4 cost uninkable, 4/4/1. Your other Ruby characters get +1 challenger. So the Lumiere effect, which is Lumiere is a great card. Your other Ruby characters with 7 attack or more get +1 lore. Okay. So lorcanaplayer.com has all the cards so far. lorcanaplayer.com. What does this look like? What am I looking at? Okay. Cards, sets, Winter Spell, Whispers in the Wind, view cards. Okay, all right. Have we seen all the cards? Have we seen all the cards? Or are we still waiting on reveals? Or have we just seen them all at this point? Someone let me know if we've seen them all at this point. Because this makes it look like we've seen them all at this point, but still waiting on a few. Okay. All right. Okay, let's get back on track. Donald Duck. Uninkable is a big deal. Ruby characters costing 7 or more is a big deal because like if we look at Ruby and we include the other sets, so we go shimmering, include all of these, and then we go to strength here, and we go to 6, right? Yeah, we don't got a lot going on here. They're going to be reaching 7 strength. Now, if you play this and Lumiere, then it gets a little bit more, like you have more opportunity. But yeah, so his effect is just not great. We got a lot of C tiers. hate to say it, but Donald's a C tier for me. They did my boy dirty. I think they did do Donald Duck dirty. And they keep doing that with Donald Duck because they also did that with the Donald Duck Legendary where needing a lot of strength. And again, though, for me, I think Donald Duck's like sitting there D tier because I just don't think there's anything that you're going to play him in. And the reason, again, being his effect is never going to be matter. Your other Ruby characters with 7 attack or more get +1 lore. That's never going to be a factor. You're not, I mean, we look at this, you might play Power Line, but that's it. You're not playing any of these other cards in your deck. Now we could, okay, let's go to purple. So there is a couple purple cards. We got Cauldron, Rafiki, Olaf. You're not playing those cards. So yeah, I personally, I think Donald Duck's a D tier. I think they did Donald really dirty in this one because you'd rather just play Lumiere. It's inkable to get the same effect, right? I don't know. Let me know if you guys think I'm way off on this one, but I think Donald is a D tier card for now. Maybe I'm wrong, and you guys can tell me, but I just don't think his effect is that important when you can play a 2-cost that does the same thing. So, and that is inkable. So we'll go to Lorcana cards. This looks very promising, and we'll move Lorebot over here. I do like Lorebot. It's just unfortunate that it's not updated. Okay, so we'll kind of just grab a card and catch up with where we are at. And we got Raksha, Storyborn Ally. Scroll through 20 lore spoiler page. There are more red cards there. Yeah, I think so. I think this Lorcana player has everything. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, I think Lorcana player has everything. So I think we're okay. I think we'll be good here. So let's talk about Raksha though. 5/3/1 on turn 3, uninkable. Once during your turn, you may pay 1 less to move this character to a location. Okay, so like we just did our Bitterwood a little dirty, saying it was too expensive. So maybe there's a world where you can. I mean, perfectly set up for each other. I mean, you even see the woods in here. So you play Raksha on turn 3, and then you play Bitterwood on turn 4. You still can't move her until turn 5, though. Even if it does cost 1, you can only, like, it still has to wait till turn 5 to move her, and it only works on herself. So, like, that's not super great. Like, I think you'd rather just run something like Prince John, because Prince John sets up things like Mother Gothel and Flingerdinger stuff. And so I think Raksha goes right there with her combo card of being C tier, because again, it only works if her effect worked for everyone, I think it'd be different. Still a turn 5 play though. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. C tier from Bearded Cat. David, C tier. And I'm right there with you. Again, if her ability worked with everything else, maybe it'd be different. But at the same time, there's also the fact that Bitterwood is still only once per turn you're drawing a card. It limited is a thing, right? So I don't really consider that when we're going through these because I'm not a fan of limited, but limited is very much a place for it as well. Then we got David here, a 5/5/2, not even once. 6-cost inkable. During your turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, draw a card. Whenever this character quests, chosen character gains rush this turn. So I'd rather play Tuk Tuk. Oh, what a great card. So, okay, so David's pretty cool. Like this. During your turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, draw a card. Okay, so you don't feel bad trading into stuff. That's pretty cool. You're getting that draw package. Feeling pretty happy with that. So whenever this character quests, chosen character gains rush this turn. So now all of your characters after turn 6 are a thing in blue red. Turn 5, of course, even sooner. No, yeah, turn 4 you could play him because you can go turn 3 or ramp on 2, Cinderella on 3, and then this on turn 4. So whenever this character quest shows imposing character gains rush this turn, that's exactly how I sit at my desk. Yes, at all times. This is how we were sitting. So like there we go with the look and the goatee, and yeah, just looking dapper, right? Anyways, anyways, he is a little expensive, right? I think this is more, if you're playing this in something, I think this is definitely something like the first thought that comes to mind would be red blue, because red blue is going to be able to get to it so quickly. Oh, but that's a thing. Shark Rush is definitely a thing. So with red purple, you weren't able to get that off, right? Or last set you could, because you had Peter Pan. This set you could do it with David here. So that's something that could be really impactful. Fun fact, they have David as a villain here. For spoiler alert, all right, if you haven't watched Gargoyles and you plan to, spoiler, so plug your ears. David turns into a good guy later on in the series, because the Gargoyles save his son, his daughter. Oh gosh, it's been so long, but he does become a good guy, and David is like the ultimate villain also, because he actually has a thing like named after him, where essentially every plan he makes ends up with him winning one way or another. But we're getting off subject. Forgive me. So probably lower A tier. He will be played in red purple. We've had ladies in chairs in Lorcana, and now we finally have a man in a chair. S tier. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I'm on board with A tier for David. I think that, oh gosh, this is tough. Like, he is expensive. The thing is, during your turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, draw a card. So he doesn't have an on the play effect, an OTP effect, but with that being said, he kind of does. And what I mean by that is you play this card and then you quest with everything, or you challenge with everything, and you could get draw that turn, right? Because you play him and then you challenge into everything. So what's going to happen is your opponent now has to realize that going into your turn 6, this could be a card that comes down and you possibly get a bunch of draw. And Ruby Steel in particular, getting a bunch of draw could just be game over for you, because that's one of the bad things about their decks is they don't have draw. So they saved his son. Thank you. So him with the cantrips is really good. Yeah. Oh gosh, could you imagine this with Magic Broom and Chernobog's Follower? So just drawing a whole bunch of cards that way, kind of like library. So I think you include this in. Do you include this in every red deck? Because if you include this in every red deck, I think A tier. I don't think I can put Diablo at B tier or A tier and then put David at S tier, because Diablo is the kind of card that will go in every red deck, right? I could imagine. I would think so, right? Diablo and Cusco, so they won't turn sideways if this is about to come down. Yeah, like, this is a hard one. Like, what do we think? How do we feel about this one? Are we feeling like he is an S tier or an A tier card? Up to A tier. Like, he's not lower than A tier for me. Like, I think what he's capable of doing and how he impacts the board immediately, like, David impacts the board on turn 5 because your opponent has to respect that he could come down on turn 6. And that's a big deal. Like, that is a really big deal. So, I have a feeling he will be heavily played, giving rush to something like Madam Mim Elephant. Okay, I would personally move Diablo up to S tier, move David into A tier, and that like I think Diablo very well could be S tier just because he's a 3/3 that quests for 2, and I like that. I like that suggestion. That's actually what we're gonna do. We're gonna go A tier and move Diablo to S tier. Because of the reason that I was kind of getting at is Diablo is something that you could start off with 4 of in your deck and be happy with that. Maybe change it because he is uninkable, but I do like that suggestion. So we'll go with David with a high A tier, high A tier for sure. Maybe we can just put him up a little bit because he's better than the other A tiers in Goliath. All right. Moving on, we've got Hans here. So Hans is a 6-cost inkable, 6/4/2. King and queen characters can't quest. At the start of your turn, if an opponent has 2 or more ready characters in play, gain 2 lore. Okay, so king and queens. We'll pull up our trusty Dreamborn here. We'll remove strength and we go king and queen. So we have quite a few king and queens. Now, what are the relevant king and queens that may be questing? Nothing so far. You just exert the queen. None of these cards are seeing play or trying to quest. You could stop Jafar. So that's something. You could stop Cusco. So that's something as well. Oh, it stops Scar, which is actually something. Like, that's a big deal. Elsa. So, okay. So there are a couple things that are a little relevant. He's huge. It's cute, but not sure he'll have much impact. I would personally move Diablo up to S tier. Okay, we already read that comment. But king and queen characters can't quest. Okay. At the start of your turn, if an opponent has 2 or more ready characters in play, gain 2 lore. So one of the things in here, so stops Tiana and Scar. So one of the things that we've been talking about since the beginning of this is Ruby Steel's weakness, in that if they do not turn sideways, you can't do anything to their board. Well, Hans could come in here and force them to turn sideways. Again, he is a 6-cost card, so that is pretty steep. Because again, the other 6-cost card that we're looking at is something like David, that we already said is really high A tier. I think Growing Influence is yes, exactly. At the start of your turn, if an opponent has 2 or more ready characters in play, gain 2 lore. Like, that is a big deal, because now if they're not turning sideways, if your opponent's not turning sideways, then you're gaining 2 lore and they're not gaining any lore. And then you can just kind of sit there and play the waiting game if you really needed to. And we have cards that can exert ready characters like Tinkerbell and Mulan, or challenge ready characters at least. So Elsa, if you're running this in red purple. It's a strong ability, but it is an expensive ability. But again, it's solving a big problem for the deck later in the game. And so you're setting up all these challengers, and then now your opponent's not questing because they're afraid of all your challengers. So they're just sitting there amassing this big board. I think it's a lower A tier. What do we think? I'm gonna go with A tier. Those 2 good ones quest for a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna go with A tier for him, because again, he solves a problem for Ruby Steel. Will red purple run him? No. Will red blue run him? I don't think they will either. Gotta give it to Ravensburger though. They really slow games down. Yeah. Yes, this definitely. Yes, I do agree with that. So, Now, on the note that it does stop Tiana, it doesn't matter that it stops Tiana because you've already won at this point. Like going into turn 6, like you're already far enough along that Tiana's probably not going to be a big enough. Like it's not going to matter. Like at this point, I would imagine. So I would still go B tier on Hans. Yeah. Red purple. Yeah. And B tier is probably the right direction. Like he does solve an issue for the deck. And for that reason though, I'll keep him there. Is he going to see that much play? Realistically, probably not. Oh, is Tiana not a queen? Oh, Tiana's probably not a queen, is she? See, I just took your word for it. That's what I get. Tiana, is she even a... She is a princess. So she is a prince. Oh, of course she's a princess because she works with Aurora. Why? Oh, she's a princess because she marries Prince Naveen. Anyways, moving on. We'll go with A tier. Realistically, it should probably be B tier. I do agree. I think that would be very appropriate. But yeah, I'll stick with A tier for now. Moving on. We've got another Mulan card. So this is exciting because this, of course, we have to respect Mulan Shift. So this Mulan alone, first thing that comes to mind is Mulan Shift. Next up, we have, it is a princess, so it does work with Aurora. Maybe red, yellow is a thing, Ruby Amber. 4/2/1. During your turn, if you've put a card under one of your characters or locations, this turn, this character takes no damage from challenges. So that's something. So what you could do is play this on turn 3, and then you play Tinkerbell on turn 4. Tinkerbell exerts a character. Mulan lets you challenge into that character, and Mulan takes no damage from that challenge. That is an idea. Other than that, there's not a lot of boost things going on that I'm aware of so far that we're using early on. Again, this is another Mulan Shift target, but she does get banished by Fire the Cannons very easily. So Red Steel One Last Hope will challenge ready characters. Yes. I mean, in One Last Hope, like, does work with Mulan, so that's something as well. I'm going to go with B tier though, just because we don't have boost, anything really with boost to make Mulan impactful, right? And that's what that card's missing. The stat line is great. She's going to banish at anything pretty much. So really good stat line. And then using a stat line that can get or doesn't get banished as well is, if you can boost, is a big deal as well. So I'm happy with B tier for Mulan. We've got Hercules, our buddy Herc. This one was quite the debate in the Mad Hatter Discord. And I will be honest, I did not read all of it because it was a lot. So, but we've got our boy Hercules here. 4 cost, uninkable, 5/3/2. This character can't be dealt damage unless he's being challenged. While this character is exerted, your other hero characters can't be dealt damage unless they're being challenged. So, there's a lot going on here. Now, he can't be dealt damage unless he's being challenged. He does get around the new action or song or weapon item. I think it's a steel item that does let you banish a deity. So there is that. But again, let's not do the whole Medusa thing. Oh, it has 3 attack or less, so it's banished by Medusa. Therefore, it's a bad card. We're going to ignore that. The fact that he can't be dealt damage unless he's being challenged is a really big deal. Like that is really impactful. Now, there is a lot of ways, though, in the new meta that lets you get around that. Bell moves 3 damage and gets around that. Lots of ways to move damage with Flinger Dinger, gets around that. While this character is exerted, your other hero characters can't be dealt damage unless they're being challenged. So that's something, because Flinger Dingers no longer can deal damage to those characters. But, I mean, you just challenge into those characters to set up the move damage. I wouldn't I don't think I could call him D tier. Bearded Cat just going in rough on her boy Hercules here. But hero, prince, and deity. I personally, Thunderbolt not doing anything to this is so perfect. It doesn't get banished by songs, which is great. I'm gonna go with B tier for him. And just middle of the pack. He quests for 2, which is really nice. Like, the fact of the matter is, he can't be dealt damage unless he's being challenged. So whatever challenges into him will trade into him, right? And that's a big deal. So that is really helpful, but he does get banished by Calhoun and a lot of cards very easy. Hermes takes him out very easily. So there is that. If it was inkable, this with Mulan is crazy. Yes, it is, right? While this character is exerted, your other hero characters can't be dealt damage unless they're being challenged, which means you can challenge your opponent's characters and not take damage. So that is something. Protect Sharpshooter, Lilo, Shark, Mulan, Shift. Yes, it does. I'm gonna go with B tier for Hercules. I think I like B tier for him. He is uninkable, which isn't the end of the world. But I think his effect is relevant. The fact that you have to challenge into him, right? Like, that is relevant, and then the rest of his abilities are super relevant because you're gonna have to take care of him, but only if you have something else boosted. I just don't like this card, but only if you have something else boosted. While this character is exerted, your other hero characters can't be dealt damage unless they're being challenged. Well, so this gets around that, though, if I'm correct, right? Because if we look at Mulan, so Mulan's a 4/2, and yes, during your turn, if you've put a card under one of your characters or locations this turn, this character takes no damage from challenges. Yes, very true, but his ability lets you ignore that because she's a hero. So if Hercules is exerted, then Mulan can't be dealt damage when she challenges something. Right? Is that how it works? Or when you challenge something, is it the same as them challenging you back? Is that how that works, where they're challenging each other? So I guess that's the question. What is it called when a character is being challenged? Are they defending themselves? Are they challenging back? I guess that would be an important clarification, if any of you guys know exactly what that would be called. So the shaft on Ruby Legendary is actually legendary. All right, we're going beats here. What is the other legendary for Ruby? Have we seen it yet? What is the other legendary? Oh, we haven't seen the other legendary yet. Oh gosh, quit being so pessimistic. It could be phenomenal. It could be it could be the most broken thing ever. So being challenged means an opposing character is challenging one of yours. Okay, so yeah, Mulan would survive, right? So that's an important thing as well. So, but allegedly it's the Headless Horseman. We talked about that yesterday, yeah, how we think that is going to be a card, and I could very much see that. I think that makes a lot of sense. If we saw Headless Horseman come in for Amber, and then we saw a legendary Mowgli come in for, Headless Horseman for Ruby, Mowgli legendary, hopefully a shift for Amber. I'd be okay with that. So Herc protects her if she is challenging, and she would get protection if she is being challenged. Correct. Yes. Correct. No. If she is being challenged, she doesn't get protection. Right? While this character is exerted, your other characters can't be dealt damage unless... Yeah, so if someone's challenging her, then she would take the damage. Unless you have a boosted character. Then she wouldn't take the damage. No. hang on. I want to make sure I'm saying the right things here. This character takes, yeah, so if you have a boosted character, then she would take no damage, right, from a challenge. And then, so essentially the only way to get rid of her at that point would be to actually sing a song. So lots of fun interactions going on with that one, actually. So with that Hercules gives us. Okay, what do we got here? So Herc Protect, okay. I'd like to see Headless Horseman and Amber. They need some villains, and he fits the medieval vibes of Amber's villains like Gaston, the Queen, etc. It would go well with because Amber's the one that got the evasive answer, right? The pumpkin head. So it would work, right? I just really want a Mowgli shift, so I'm a little biased about what I want to see. So, but looking at Shere Khan, 3/3/1, 2-cost inkable. A tier, right? It's a great vanilla card. If this was a 2 lore card, like it would be like S tier for sure. But it is only questing for 1, but it's a great challenger. I think A tier for sure. Raja with no vanish, exactly. So Starset agrees, Bearded Cat agrees. And yeah, Raja with no vanish is pretty darn good. You can no longer remove this 3/3 with a Fire the Cannons or a good job, you know. You're going to have to strength it, challenge it, whatever. And most of those cards challenging into it are going to be banished in the process. So moving on, we've got Rama. Rama is giving Smee vibes, but yeah, missing that too. Yep. So 6-cost inkable. That 6-cost slot is getting very busy. 6/6/2 ally, so really big deal, is going to really feed into the Scar if you wanted to go that route. Whenever you play another character with 5 attack or more, you may ready this character. If you do, he can't quest for the rest of this turn, but he can challenge. So a lot going on there. He is potentially kind of like a little Monstro, a little baby Monstro. So you can challenge into something, play another character with 5 or more, and then ready him and challenge into something again. Or you could quest and then challenge. If you have Scar down, you could quest and then challenge and then banish Rama with Scar to draw 7 cards. That feels pretty good as well. It's a really cool effect. I think it is a cool effect. I think you may ready this character. If you do, he can't quest for the rest of your turn. Is our boy David here whenever this character quests? Okay, it is when he quests. So, whenever you play another character with 5 attack or more, you may ready this character. If you do, he can't quest for the rest of this turn. Do we need a Monstro type effect? Bearded Cat's on C. Jeremy's on B. My first reaction is B. I mean, that ability. But again, what else are we doing on turn 6? Well, we're playing Maui, right? Like that's a pretty good turn 6 play. We're playing Maui on turn 6. We're playing David on turn 6. And for that reason, our 6-drop slot is pretty... I mean, we put Hans up here in A tier, right? So we're possibly playing Hans. And so for that reason, I think if we compare it to the other 6-drops that we've already looked at, then it's just not sitting in the same league. And I think C tier is appropriate for it just because of how we've rated the other 6-drops. Because it's not going to replace those other 6-drops, right? I just don't see a world where you would. David, though, also thinks it's B tier. But what do you take out to run it, right? And that would be my question. Because you're already running the David. You're already running Maui Half Shark. On turn 6, I'd rather play Maui, David, or Demona. Demona also if you're running Ruby Steel. So there's just so many 6-drop cards already, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. If we're running red-blue, now, okay, if you're running red-blue, you could run New Orleans, and New Orleans is letting you now David, Hans, not Demona anymore, but our 6/6 here, pretty good pulls off of New Orleans. So that's something. But I'll go with B tier though. I'll go with the majority on this one. We got we can go with the majority on this one. We can go with B tier. But again, if it was like it's super low B tier, high C tier, only because of I'm on there just because Red Blue does have the opportunity to do some really nasty stuff with turn 2 ramp into Cinderella into a turn 6, right? So pretty quickly. So there is that as well. And yeah, so we'll go with B tier. All right. Tinkerbell we've already done. Mushu's Rocket. Mushu's Rocket. Okay, 1 cost inkable. So we have a 1 cost item now. First thing that comes to mind is Belle, right? The 3 cost Belle. You can now play Belle on turn 1. Whenever you play this item, chosen character gains rush this turn, and then Hitch a Ride. Pay 2 ink. Banish this item. Chosen character gains rush this turn. So an opportunity to give 2 characters rush in 1 turn, or give a character rush and then give a character rush later on. That's pretty cool. It allows Belle. I don't know how much we need Belle in Red Blue anymore, because we have things like Diablo and Shere Khan coming down on turn 2. So we also have a 3/1 that comes down on turn 1 with the new Tinkerbell. So I don't know how important it is to have a Belle. I don't think important at all. But you can play this, and like Jeremy said, it sets up Maui Half Shark really well. So now Maui Half Shark has a couple different triggers to help him do things immediately. So turn 7, you now have to respect that Maui Half Shark could be coming down and bringing back Dragon Fires and whatever actions that Ruby or Red Purple might be wanting back, or Red Steel, things like that. So I mean, you could play this on turn 7 with Maui Half Shark, and then you play the new Hercules card for free because you have a character with 5 or more attack, and then all of a sudden Maui Half Shark is challenging something once, challenging something again, because you bring back the action, right? And you could just challenge their entire board, right? So that's something kind of like Fan the Flames did for when that was kind of popular for just a second. So big for Maui Half Shark. Goliath works really well with Goliath as well. But the question is, where do we put it? Definitely no lower than B tier. It's not an S tier. A tier. Bearded says A tier. What else do we have? What else do we got? Where are we thinking? A tier for sure. All right, that's 2 for A tier. All right, we can go there. A tier sounds pretty Gucci to me. Next meta is going to be really interesting. It is going to be really interesting for sure. I'm really intrigued by what it's going to look like, because we're kind of following in the same trap that everybody was kind of afraid of this set, where everyone's just developing these big boards and then just sitting there, right? And waiting for that card that helps you do stuff to the opponent's board. So with that being a thing, is that not what is happening exactly with this same set? The difference being is that you can do it with more than just purple now. So that's something. So there's going to be like, and that is a big difference in this set, is that there's going to be more plausible decks going on, right? So, but I do think we're going to have quite the standstill. And this goes back to what David said earlier, where the game is definitely slowed down, I think. So maybe there is room for aggro to come in. But talk about a big boy, right? Shere Khan, 8 cost inkable, 8/8/2, shift 5, and then his ability Wild Rage. Pay 1 ink, deal 1 damage to this character, ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of this turn. There's so much going on with it. Like, first off, he's an 8/8/2. And then his ability to deal 1 damage to this character is so just good. Like, his ability is great. What you can do with that. You can essentially take out your opponent's entire board. You have an infinite way to now do, not infinite per se, but you can do Flinger Dinger stuff with Shere Khan really easily by dealing 1 damage to this character. So there's that. You can imagine you have Mother Gothel down and you have Shere Khan down. And you just keep using his ability to ready this character, and then he just keeps moving damage. So many Shere Khans in this set. Yeah, there's a lot, right? Because we have this Shere Khan, and then there's another one that we haven't even looked at yet that is also in this set. So an 8/8/2 is just a big body that you're already going to be playing this Shere Khan for sure. Is he? Yes, he's a big body. Yes, he quests for 2, but the question is he an A tier card? I don't know. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it, right? Like, that's just it. Like, readying this character over and over again is a big deal, and his shift targets are great. So I do think he's an A tier card. I think because he's easy. He is easy to get off when you have a Shere Khan that you're going to be running in almost any deck. So if anything, why don't you just run 1 or 2? Because maybe you get an 8/8 on turn 5, and that feels pretty good. So old Maui control. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you just shifted. Duh. He's shift. So he comes down on turn 5 and immediately challenges into something. And then how are you getting rid of it? So yeah, that's a duh. He challenges as soon as you shift. So yeah, A tier is very appropriate. I think that's very appropriate. I mean, come on. He clears the new Cauldron Born. So the 6/7/1 vanilla. Aladdin, Peter Pan, we've already done. Tinkerbell, done. Brooklyn, Bitterwood, Tremaine, Hermes. Next up, Bronx. Here's Bronx. Someone mentioned Bronx earlier, so here we go. All right. Bang. Bronx. Oh my God. Bronx is a monster. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's a 3-cost inkable. 3-cost inkable, 6/4 reckless. This, and then of course Stone by Day. So this is, oh, what a beefy boy. Oh my God. Like that's impressive. So that's really impressive. Worst case scenario, right? Your opponent has nothing for him to attack, so you play Aladdin and boost Aladdin, and now he can quest for 1. You play this on turn 3, you play Scar on turn 5. Now you're drawing 7. That feels pretty good with Scar, so we can't argue with that. He's broke S tier, A tier. Oh my God, a 6/4 on turn 3 that this is a Maui half shark on turn 3. Okay. This is a Maui half shark on turn 3. And Maui half shark was ran in every single red deck, almost exclusively a 4 of, like, from the beginning of him to the end of him. So how can we look at a 3-cost Maui half shark and say, nah? Like, so, B tier from Star. All right, hot take incoming, and Star is over here with B tier. Because right now I'm sitting on S tier. So, or turn 2 with ink reduction. True. So, with rocket ship. Yes, the good point. I do that sometimes. I look at Reckless and Rush. And I think it's because of Maui, because Maui had Reckless and Rush. So okay, so turn 4, he's challenging stuff. So that does make him a little less effective in my book. He is not exactly a Maui half shark. But even with that, we still have Stitch saying S tier, Bearded Cat saying A or S for sure. I I still think S tier. Like, um, yeah, I think S tier because your opponent can just no longer turn sideways. So my issue is the early cost gargoyles is they aren't going to be readying up for a couple turns. And that's true, right? Like that's a big deal. But also what is he doing? Because he comes in readied, right? He's not exerted, so he comes in readied, and because of that, he can just attack something immediately. And then your opponent can't challenge into him either because they lose their character. So, and that's a good point. If the evasive meta continues to be a big problem, then Brox loses capability, not being evasive. But because if you're on the play, definitely he's going to be easier on the play than on the draw, like without a doubt, because you have that one less card to deal with. But the fact of the matter is you'll eventually get back to him, and when you do, he trades into anything on your opponent's board. And that alone is a big deal. I mean you play Lumiere on turn 2 and he can challenge a Tiana without paying the Tiana tax. That's pretty cool. Like that's a pretty big deal. So Dumbo Feather gives him evasive. So Bronx is going to eat one thing and then just sit there for 2 turns and gets banished by a Fire the Cannons. And that's true as well, but at least it eats the Fire the Cannons. So there's that. So because there's other things that they might want to Fire the Cannons as well. Elsa can't even hit him. It's true as well. I'm gonna go with S tier. I get what you're saying, but I right now I just think Bronx is that good. Like I really like that's just really impressive, and yeah, I like that. So we'll stick with that for now. And I could be wrong, and maybe Star, you're the one that has the secret sauce and knows the truth. Beast. All right. I have not seen the Beast. So what do we have here? We have a Whispers Beast, 2-cost inkable. 2-cost inkable, 3/2/1, boost 2, hero, prince, and a whisper. Whenever he challenges another character, if there's a card under this character, each opponent loses 1 lore and you gain 1 lore. So he's like a baby Aladdin, right? Like the Shift Aladdin. I think he's a Shift 5. But he's expensive. Like that. He's an anti-aggro card for sure. But again, he's expensive and he's really easy to remove. He's anti-aggro as long as they don't have Fire the Cannons. If he wasn't so easy to remove, I think it could be more plausible. Like if he was a 3/3, I think he becomes a little bit more playable. But being a 2-cost 3/2 that is essentially useless until we boost him, and we're most likely not going to be boosting him because of how strong our turn 3, our turn 4, our turn 5, turn 6, like how strong they all are. And Ruby Steel needs to have tempo going throughout the entire game. So Paul, C tier, we got 2 D tiers, and I agree. I think Beast is a D tier. I just don't think he's going to see any play. I think his ability is just too rough to be a plausible thing. Because again, even on turn 2, we can just play a 3/3 that's going to be doing fine or questing for 2. Yeah, I think he's D tier. Yeah, you're just never going to have time to... Exactly. And I just don't think you will. And for being an anti-aggro card, to not have time to be able to do it is a big deal. And what if you do use that ability, right? You boost him. So you use your turn 3 to boost him. And then they just Fire the Cannons it. So you made them lose 1 lore if you challenged into something. And then they just remove the the cannons and you're left with whatever your 1-drop was. So... All right, and I think that's all of our A tier, or sorry, all of our Ruby cards. It is. It is all of our Ruby cards. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And how many cards is it normally? Okay, so quite a bit. So we still have quite a few more then. It looks like. Yeah. I think you're right. I think I was going to do all of them, but I think I stayed up a little late watching the movie with Molly. So I think we're gonna have to do Steel tomorrow as well as Sapphire. I don't know if you guys have noticed me yawning. You know, it's as easy as that was to hide. like, but I think we will get to Steel and Sapphire tomorrow, and I'll start the stream a little earlier. So I think I started it at almost 10. Gosh, it was probably even later than that that I started the stream tonight. So tomorrow we'll either watch a movie earlier in the night to finish these two, but also because we need to go over the other ones in here that have been added. So yeah, we'll do one of them though, because I really want to talk about it. I really want to talk about it tonight because I was really excited for it. We'll do Mowgli tonight. Let's do Mowgli real quick before I'm done for the night. All right. We'll do Mowgli for Amber. I'm just saying it in S tier. Like, I'm putting Mowgli in S tier. His ability is just awesome. Okay, so we got A tier off the bat. Now he is a bare necessities on a body, but you don't get to choose, right? Which is kind of a big deal, because now let's say you're in a best of 3 match. Your opponent knows you run Mowgli. Your opponent knows that you're probably going to alter for Mowgli because Mowgli's so effective early on. If you're playing against a blue deck, they now can only rely on Tipo, because if you play Mowgli, then they have to live on a prayer. They still have to alter 7 for ramp and then just pray that it's a Tipo that they get and not a Sail, because or they have to pray that they get Sail plus a non-character card. And that's a big deal, because if we look at Blurple, or like, their songs that they're running are also big deals. So, and you're just there's such a high likelihood that Into the Unknown could be gone, Chiba, right, could be gone, Sail is gone. There's just so many different cards that this removes. And yes, you may miss sometimes. That's why I really hope if Mowgli has a shift, like, this isn't just an S tier card, this is like an S plus card, right? And yeah, against green decks, you hit Under the Sea, you could hit the new 3 cost that deals 1 damage, 1 damage counter to every character. So there's just a lot. There's a lot that Mowgli hits, and I'm really big on him. I don't know if you run this in like aggro decks per se, because when we look at aggro, that turn 2 is going to be a really big deal. That's going to be your Tiana. That's going to be double 1-drop or triple 1-drop. That's going to be Nala. But in your slower control decks, I think Mowgli becomes just a massive, massive win. Because your other 2-drop is normally something like Ursula or Troubadour. But Mowgli just has another really good thing going on. And again, if he gets a shift target, Mowgli's just busted, because now he gets his ability plus a great shift target, and you might hit the card that can remove the baby shift, being something like Fire the Cannons or Strength of a Raging Fire. I hope it's a shift 2 legendary that comes in and lets you pick 2. Oh, that would be nasty. That would be absolutely nasty if that was it. I also just noticed that Shere Khan is right there. So Shere Khan's doing a little stalking. But yeah, I'm gonna put Mowgli in an S tier. I don't know if you'll see him in aggro decks because that turn 2 is just so good for aggro. But imagine you run this in blue yellow, and then now blue yellow is running this, and they're running the Ludwig von Drake, which lets you choose what you're gonna remove. So now there's 8 cards in your deck potentially, probably more like 7, I would think, that are removing non-character based cards from your opponent's hand. So that's pretty good as well. But yeah, I was pretty excited to see Mowgli. I think it's great. Again, I hope we see a shift target for sure. What was discard again? Lemon Lime. Yeah, exactly. So what were the other... How many amber cards did... Oh, we got a lot of amber cards since we did the video, didn't we? Or did the video yesterday. Oh my gosh, we got 2 pages worth. Maybe that's what we can do for the rest of tonight, though. Maybe, yeah, okay, let's do that. We'll wrap up with Amber for tonight. And then tomorrow we'll start anew with doing the Amethyst, sorry, not Amethyst, Sapphire and Steel. So yeah, we'll wrap up tonight with finishing the Amber cards. And that'll kind of take me to midnight or maybe a little bit past, and I think that'll be okay because I just love Amber and I want to talk about the Amber cards. Do you think Classic Steel Song can start building itself back up with the return of Zeus? Shanty that low. We were too spoiled with Cindy. All right, let's talk about both those things before we get to our girl Minnie Mouse over here. So. Or sorry, Mickey. That is definitely Mickey Mouse. That is not Minnie. So let's talk about Shanty really quick, right? Because we did Shanty yesterday. The more I've been looking at Shanty, the more I've had other thoughts about moving her up to at least B tier. But at the same time, because when I looked at Shanty, I immediately thought of Aurora. And which Singer 5 would I want more in my list? And personally, I think that Aurora is the more effective Singer 5 because, yes, Shanty has that 5 health, which is a big deal. Like, that's really impactful. But does that change anything, really? Because all of these early decks are going to be able to deal with 4 health just as easily as they can deal with 5 health. But meanwhile, Aurora is at least doing the 1 damage, so it would trade into Tinkerbell, the 1-cost Tinkerbell. So that is something. And then Aurora does have that heal ability or that damage removal ability for what it's worth. Very rarely do we ever see that come to fruition, but it is something. So that's kind of why we placed her there. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes she readies up because I would rather play Aurora over Shanty. So yeah. So and then going to Dandy's. Do you think Classic Steel Song can start building itself back up with the return of Zeus? So and then David over here already looking at Classic Steel Song, and yes, I mean it's hard not to, right? And it's sometimes a detriment. Like even now I'm playing Amber Steel aggro, and that's what everyone expects me to be on is Amber Steel aggro, because Amber Steel was like my calling card for Lorcana. It's the first deck that I started playing the first deck I started playing was Red Purple, and that lasted all of like 5 games before I said I hate Lorcana. Like, this is an awful deck. I do not enjoy playing it. And then JDRR recommended that I check out Steel Song because of kind of my thoughts about Red Purple. And like, I just loved it. I loved everything about Steel Song. There wasn't anything I did not like about the combo and the playstyle of Steel Song. So when I see cards like Shanty and Mickey Mouse and all these other things. And we see cards like he hurled his Thunderbolt and Strength of a Raging Fire. I get really excited that Steel Song may actually be a thing again. We were talking about this earlier on in the Discord, in the Mad Hatter's Discord, in that one of the biggest things that is missing from it, though, is a whole new world. And people need to respect just how important a whole new world was to the success of Steel Song. Because if you're running a whole bunch of songs, right? You run Strength of a Raging Fire, you run He Hurled His Thunderbolt. How many Steel Song players did you skill gap because they said, you know what I need to do in my first 2-3 turns is use all of my songs, and then they have nothing left in their hand. It's just gone. And meanwhile, their Ursula, their Troubadour, is doing nothing. They're questing for 1, maybe representing some Rapunzel value. So that is a really big deal. So where we have cards like Thunderbolt that's dealing 4 damage, and then also his deity effect, which may come into play, is great, and Strength of a Raging Fire is great. If we start including a whole bunch of song cards in our deck, then it can get really dangerous. Now, with that being said, Mickey, you can kind of go away for a second. We have this beautiful card right here. We have Ariel. So Ariel, that 4-cost inkable boost card, 3/4/2. When you play a song once during your turn, if there's a card under this character, you may draw a card. So that is something. And then also Beyond the Horizon is something. So yeah, exactly. Both the things. So, and the other benefit of Beyond the Horizon is it also does shut down gargoyles. So there's that. So I think that Steel Song very much can come back. I do not think that it will ever be the powerhouse that it was, because I don't think we'll ever get a whole new world back. I will admit I was hoping that we would get a whole new world back this set, because if you guys remember, they said they were going to give us the worlds, whole new worlds in December. And so I was kind of hoping, right? But maybe next set, but probably never, I think is more realistic. Would just be more fair at this point. But I would never not want to be my beloved Arc. Exactly. We also have access to Circle of Life to bring back Surfer Stitch. They said they weren't going to reprint. Oh, did they say that? Now, did they say they would never reprint it? Or it wasn't going to be a reprint for set 9? Like, that would be... because I remember them saying it, but were they referring to set 9 it wouldn't be reprinted? Would be my question. But with that being said, Steel Song will be different. Beyond, like, it's just, but it's going to have the same strong things. I do think it's coming back. I do think that it's going to be very playable, especially if you're in a heavy aggro area, because that's what it's always been good against. And it just has other ways to go about getting the win. So, but yes, very long explanation. I do think Steel Song 2.0, as David is calling it, is very likely to come back into the scene, because songs, right? And they're good. And there's other ways to do things, powerful things with songs. So, and we still have more cards to be revealed, and we may see some other songs. But let's talk about Mickey Mouse that's on the screen. I really love Mickey Mouse. I think Mickey Mouse is a banger of a card. He is a 4-cost inkable 2/5/1. Your other Amber characters get +2 health. Okay, that's perfect. And then while you have 2 or more other Amber characters in play, this character gains Singer 8. Okay, perfect. Because we're talking about Steel Song coming back. You're going to have those 2 characters in play. Like, if you like it's not even a discussion, right? Like, nothing your opponent's really going to be able to do that early is going to prevent you from making Mickey Mouse a Singer 8. And so now Mickey Mouse is singing Circle of Life, right? That's a possibility. So, I mean, and the other thing, it's just so good. Like, it's just so good, right? Because you play Mickey on turn 4. like it's in turn 5 you're singing, yeah, because you play chip on turn 3. Chip is letting you put cards in your discard and giving another character -3 strength, so now they can't even challenge to remove your characters. And the next thing you know, you're have a Singer 8 singing Circle of Life by themselves and bringing a Surfer Stitch back in, or singing Beyond the Horizon, and that's another thing you could do. So yeah, it's great. S tier, I agree. I think Mickey Mouse is S tier. As soon as I saw Mickey Mouse, this is everything that an Amber card or a champion card should be. Like, a champion card should not be a question of should I run this in my deck. Like, I think if you're going to call it a champion card, like, it needs to be a great card. And Mickey Mouse is doing everything that we want an Amber champion to do. A Singer 8 and giving your characters +2 lore. I mean, I think there's an argument that you could even run this in, like, you could look at running this in Infinity decks. I mean, imagine the Rapunzel value with this. Nope, Gazelle's not on here yet either. So, we have not gotten to Gazelle. But yes, Mickey Mouse is an S tier card for me. Just an absolute banger of a card, and it's inkable. Like, Amber is getting into the realm of Amethyst. Like, we have one uninkable card right now. Like, yes, It Means No Worries will also be very easy to play as well. So yeah, no, I think it's great. I'm loving the 3-drop Bagheera and Lexington combo. Lexington. I'm skipping ahead a little bit because I don't remember Lexington. It might be a steel card though. Oh, I thought that said Tarzan for a second. Okay. Okay, we'll just go back up here. We have not gotten to this gal. So he's steel. They're basically big bodies in the 3 slot. Okay. All right, cool. So we got our girl here. We've got Elenwe. That's probably not how you say it, but she's a 2/1 support, ally princess, 1 cost. It's another princess, so if you're trying to run an aggro deck still, she's going to work with Aurora, so kind of like the same Mulan effect, so you can do this massive 4 1-drops on turn 2. Feels pretty good. Yeah, Infinity is going to be wild. Like, the Infinity DLC is going to be absolutely wild. So, but as far as she goes, I mean, one of the added benefits of her is your Troubadour and Ursula become a lot more effective now. So that's something. It supports World's Greatest Criminal Mind builds. Scar. You get to draw a Scar. So that's something. Yeah, it's Basil. Exactly. That's the easiest way to say it. It's Basil. Now what... Like, are we running it though? Is the question. Ilonwe. So yeah, World's Greatest Criminal Mind is about to pop off this set. Let's do something really quick. I want to see if World's Greatest Criminal Mind, because we've known about it for a hot minute now. So we're gonna go off subject for a minute. World's Greatest. What does it want? An apostrophe? World's Greatest Criminal Mind. Oh yeah, it's going hard, guys. Okay, but we've got to check the cold foil. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Nope. It is not changed. I thought maybe it would at least go up to like 50 cents. But it's not even. Oh, we've got one for 50 cents. So yeah. Yeah, I thought for sure we would see it go up to at least 50 cents. So, but yeah, if you have dozens, man, now's your chance to shine. Like, this is your opportunity. Okay, don't spoil it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be worth it. Okay. So the set 2 one though, if you have dozens of set 2, You're looking at the price is going up. You're looking at 325, 339. All right, that's our market watch for the day, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you enjoyed. Let's get back to business to defeat, the Huns. But we've got our girl here. As far as a rating, she's a B card, right? I think she could see play if you wanted to make World's Greatest Criminal Mind easier to do. Sure, she does support. She's another card that you could run with Aurora to do a massive early drop, so that's something as well. I think B tier is fine. Maybe she might be more C tier, but I think B tier is fine for her. Oh gosh, you can't even say Queen Sensor Core is back. Queen Sensor Core has never been anywhere, which is unfortunate because I love Queen Sensor Core. Like it's probably one of my favorite cards ever outside of Flute. Like probably right after Flute, because Flute will always, and for the history of always, be my favorite card ever. But Queen Sensor Core is right there. Okay, we've got this next card that I do not know if it's going to be in English at all. It is not. But I do remember what it does very vaguely, at least the majority of it. It's a 2-cost inkable, 2/6. And then what it does, if it was in English, is when you move a character, when a character quests while at this location, you pay 2 less to play the next character that turn, however you want to say it. So essentially, I play a 2-drop. I play a 1-drop. I play this on turn 2. On turn 3, I move the 1-drop to this spot, and I can pay 2 less to play my next character. So I could play a 4-drop on turn 3, right? Because I go to 3 ink. I move. Yeah, so I could play a 4-drop on turn 3. That's something. So that being said, it's not gaining you any lore. Part of the new aggro in this set. Yeah, I think it's a C tier card. Like, so you say it's part of the aggro, 3-drop on 3. 3-drop. Yeah, because you could move the Mulan, right? So you play a Mulan on turn 1. You play this on turn 2. You move the Mulan for 1. No, wait. Yeah, so that would still work, right? Yeah, 3-drop on 3. That's true. Yeah, because it costs 2 to move. So, yeah, I think C tier, if not D tier. If it came with 1 lore, that could be something, right? But, yeah. I mean, it is cool that you can reuse its effect over and over again. Like, it's not... well, I don't know. If I saw it in English, is it like Seven Dwarfs Mine, is my question. Is it... if it's like Seven Dwarfs Mine, where you can only... so... because... no, so it can't be like Seven Dwarfs Mine because you're questing, right? If it was when you move a character, you can pay 2 less, then yes, D tier. But where I can put a character there, and then forever and always, as long as that character quests while at this location, I'll get -2 for my next character, then you could do something with that. So, yeah, so it's not a once per turn. That's what I was getting at. So I'll go with C tier. Probably a very, 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 very lowest of the low C tier, but I'll go with C tier for this one. Sebastian. So Sebastian is our Simba, our what's the one from the Great Mouse Detective? It's essentially our way of questing for 3. So it's an aggro card. It is a bad Nala, right? Like that's kind of that. It's a really bad Nala, like a really, really bad Nala. I mean, when we look at Simba and we look at the Olivia, the green Olivia or the red Simba that's questing for 3 and are 1/1s, those don't see play in anything, and I don't know if they ever have seen play in anything. So I think Sebastian is a D tier card. Like, it's cool to see that a 2-drop that's questing for 3, but in our history with the other 3 questers on turn 2, it's just they don't see play. So I think, man, it's just opposite day. I'm just going opposites of you all over the place, David. I'm going with D tier on this one. I just don't see why you'd play this. If I'm running aggro, I'm running Nala, Troubadour, Calhoun, Tiana on turn 2. Like, there's just other things that I'm going to want to do on turn 2 that aren't playing Sebastian. So yeah, I'm going to go with D tier on this one. So next up, did we talk about this Scrooge? We have not talked about this Scrooge, but I have no idea what he does. Yeah, I have no idea. Is it going to be in English if I click on it? Okay, so it is in English when you click on it. So we have that going for us. So when you play this character, chosen character with a card under them gets +1 this turn. That's not good. So when you play this character, chosen character with a card under them gets +1 this turn. Well, that's just not good at all. I mean, that's just not good, right? I mean, what? Why does this matter, right? Only for shift. Yeah, and there is that, right? Because we do have our shift target here, the shift 4. So is that our only shift? It looks like that's our only shift. So that's kind of a big deal because he is really good. So do we call him B tier? Or do you include him in A tier because his shift target is so good? So, because that's the thing. Like, you would only play this card because of the shift target. That's it. That is the only reason. It might as well be a 1 cost 0/0/1, right? You're only going to play this card because of the shift target. So do we throw it in A tier because of that? Or do we put it in D tier because it's just that bad, but you're still going to run it because of Scrooge McDuck? Like, what a weird situation. I don't know what to do with this one. Like, I think it's appropriate to just put it in D tier. Like, it is that bad. Oh gosh, what have I done? It is that bad that you don't want to run it, but you just might because the shift target's so good. So we'll go with that. But yeah, that's just unfortunate. Raja, we already talked about. Raja, we put in B tier. 3/4 bodyguard just feels nice. Yeah, and that's just like, that's the question, right? Like, do you just include it in A tier because its shift target is just that good? So, I mean, we could almost just hide it behind the A, like, but we put Raja in B tier. We got Webby I put in D tier. So we decided on D tier for that just because it's really difficult for her ability to even matter. Well, you have a character or location in play with a card under them. This character gets +1 lore. It's a 1/6. Doesn't trade well. Easy to remove at this point in the game. It's hard for her to matter early on by getting a boosted character. So it's just tough all around. So that was a D tier for us. But next up, we've got Or Rewrite History.
3 cost inkable. Return a character card from your discard to your hand, and it's a song. Now, the problem with this song is, don't we have this song? What is it? What is it called? Because I'm pretty sure we have this song already. Classifications, song. Yes. Part of your world. Okay. So it is no longer in play. To answer your question, David, shift does count as a card underneath them. So that is something that is kind of important. It rotated and it's inkable. So now that you mentioned that, part of your world was the only time I ever played that card. Was I played this super high rolly Kristoff deck where you just spammed songs with the Shift Mulan, and you got to play Kristoff and then continually bring back Kristoff. And that was a fun deck. But, so Rewrite History is the same thing. Big hello, Doc. I won't give it is song, but it must be 2 cost. Yeah. So, excuse me. Part of your world, was it? Part of your world. Was it a 3? Come on. Part of your world. I don't know. I like it because of the ability. Yeah, it was a 3 cost. Okay. So it's literally part of your world, but it's inkable. Like that's just it. So I don't know. I like it just because I can do that silly stuff with Kristoff again, where you're just bringing back Kristoff over and over again. It does have the capability of bringing back Doc, which is exciting and fun, and doing crazy stuff with that over and over again. It's way better than the song I Won't Give In. I think it's a solid B tier card. Yeah. And I think B is a good place for it. I think that works really well. So, return a character card with cost 2. Yes. Okay. So that was the legal one that I was thinking of. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with B tier for it. I think it definitely has opportunity, right? I mean, I wonder if you could run this in Infinity for Ariel. Like maybe that would be an opportunity as well. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna go with B tier for that one. All right, we got Quick Flash. Quick, fast, and Flash. Our boy Flash, the speeder, the DMV agent. 3 cost, inkable, 3/4/2. This character enters play exerted. Whenever this character quests, you may give chosen detective character +2 strength this turn. It's an A song. Hello, Big Mickey Steele. Yeah. Oh. Well, it doesn't go into play, right? So it's still going to be hard to get that Big Mickey down. Like, that's still going to be really expensive. So there is that to consider. But our boy Flash here, I think he's a D tier card. Whenever this character quests, you may give chosen detective character +2 strength this turn. I don't think that's super relevant, really. And this character enters play exerted is not ideal. We saw that in one of the Chip and Dale cards, that they entered play exerted and they never saw play. So I think Flash, as cool as he is a D tier card. So, yeah, extremely slow. So Shanty, Bagheera, oh my, Dingo? Does it say Dingo? Goofy in this language is Dingo? Okay. All right. Have we done Dingo? I don't think we did Dingo yesterday. So let's see what Dingo does. So he is When you play this character, choose an opposing character. If you do, that character gets -1 attack until the start of your next turn. It is a 4-cost inkable 4/5/1. So not a bad stat line for turn 4. But again, what am I doing on my turn 4? I'm playing Ariel. I'm playing Mickey Mouse, Prince Naveen. Like, there's a bunch of other things I'd rather be doing on turn 4 than ever play our boy Dingo here. I will never forget that Goofy means dingo in whatever language this is. So, si tu veux boire un I don't know. It looks like who knows. I wish I was fluent in other languages, but I am not a polyglot by any stretch of the imagination. Shift on 5 to big new Goofy. So that is something. We put Goofy at B tier. So it is a shift target. So 5/7 quest for 3. So that is pretty helpful. So it's a shift target that's going to live really easily. But again, and he can sing Circle of Life. So that's kind of important. He can set up that kind of stuff really well. And then questing for 3 on a body that big is not bad. So I think we can put him in B tier. Again, he's not as bad as the baby shift that we had down here that we put in D tier, even though we have to run him if we want to run the big Scrooge. If anything, he's a 4-cost hero. I don't know if hero matters, but he is there. We'll put him in B tier. I think realistically, he's an S tier card, and we're gonna stick with that trend. We're not gonna upgrade him just because his shift is really good. Because otherwise we'd have to upgrade Scrooge, the baby Scrooge, to A tier. So we'll stick with C tier because on his own he's just not great, right? So arguably maybe even D tier, but he is a great shift target. So there's that. If that makes sense. So moving on. Diary, Goofy, Blue. Did we do this Blue yet? Yes, we did. Okay. Della's Moon Lullaby. We did Della Moon's Lullaby, I believe. The 4-drop legendary Goofy. That's a good point. You could do that because he does quest for more. He has the added ability. I don't think we did Lullaby. Della's Moon Lullaby. Okay. Did we? Oh no, it's right there. Okay, we already did it. We gave her C tier. So okay, so next up we have Gazelle. So Gazelle coming in here, 5-cost uninkable, 3/8/1, Singer 7. When you play this character, you may put a song from your discard on the top of your deck. So this can do a lot, right? One of the biggest things that I routinely asked for in the previous sets, which is now Infinity, is a way to do things with the songs in our discard. And Gazelle is letting us do that. So that is a really big deal. You can bring back the Thunderbolt, right? He hurled his Thunderbolt. You could bring back Strength of a Raging Fire. You could bring back all of these songs that possibly do stuff. With her being uninkable, it is really rough because that limits what you can do with, because now if you're running He Hurled His Thunderbolt, there's 4 cards there. If you're trying really hard on a song deck, Beyond the Horizons, another 3 or 4 cards. So now you're at 7 or 8 uninkables. So maybe you can throw in like 1 or 2 Gazelles, because her singing that on her own is really relevant. Also being a 3/8 is a relevant stat line. Like, that's a big body. 8 health is a big body that also trades into most things that are going to trade into it. Maybe this is more of a blue-yellow card, right? Because you can ramp to her and get her down faster. She lives, she sings New Orleans, whatever else you need. So that's something. He's going to shift to Big Goofy and sing Under the Sea, Lemon Lime on 5 with Vanessa And that's true. He could do that as well, talking about Goofy. Gazelle is interesting. You would never run 4 of her. I don't even think you'd run 3. I think if you were to run her, you'd only run 2, and that number would feel okay. But I think 2 would be the max number. But her ability is just so good. When you play, it's not even when you sing a song with this character, it's when you play this character. You may put a song from your discard on top of the deck. And that on its own is massive. Like, we don't have a lot of singers that do something when you play them. That's one of the things that was so great about Ariel, is she did something when you played her. So uninkable, if she was inkable, A or S tier. Uninkable, I can't put her on C and D just because her effect is just that good. David's on B, Jeremy's on Gazelle is really bad. I think I like B tier for her. Again, it's a card that I could see myself throwing in 1 for sure, maybe 2. So what song will be in discard on curve? Strength, right? Or I Hurled My Thunderbolt are both cards that could very easily be in your discard at that point. And not even easily. Like, they will be in your discard at that point. Even World's Great. Yeah, that's a good point. World's Greatest Criminal Mind coming down, answering Red's Goliath on turn 4, right? So World's Greatest Criminal Mind will be there. And seeing that card over and over again against a Gargoyle deck would feel pretty good. So, Star is saying A tier. So I feel good. I feel good with B tier. Just because, again, I'm not gonna run a lot of them. I could see myself running 1 for sure in any version of Steel Song, maybe 2. But I don't think I'd be running more than that. I wonder. That's a. I mean, you could just throw her in a Lantern deck as well, right? Throw her in a or a yellow-purple Lantern deck would feel pretty good as well. So that's something. But then the singer's not, because then you can't sing Beyond the Horizon, or so maybe that wouldn't work. But you could just throw Lantern in yellow steel. So anyways, I like B tier. Okay, moving on from Gazelle, we've got Search for Clues. Is this another? Nope, this is an action. Okay, so Search for Clues is an action. 4-cost inkable action. The player or players with the most cards in their hands choose and discard 2 cards. If you have a detective character in play, gain 1 lore. Okay. So this is a great on the play card, a really rough on the draw card, but possible. Yeah, it is like a Dad Blast. It is definitely only really playable if you're on the play, and I say that because they're gonna get that extra card off the draw. So there's that. But if this was a song, it would be really good. Like, I could rate this really well. So, but where it's not a song, it's difficult, right? Because you have to, it is inkable, which is nice, but again, you're trying to set this up. So you spam a whole bunch of 1-drops to get this down, or some 1 and 2 drops. It's good top end for aggro. True, right? We've seen aggro decks running Dad Blast. You Have Forgotten Me in those aggro decks, or even Steel Songless in the end when Habibi started running it in his list. So there is things you could do. The detective character in play isn't super relevant. It is, but not a whole lot. I think B tier is fine with this. Again, a really low B tier for that. I just don't think that it would see a whole lot of play. But I do think that we will see it see play. Again, in Amber, I do think we could see it see play. especially against gargoyle decks. Like anything in discard against gargoyle decks is going to be really nice because they're trying to keep a small hand size. So if you just obliterate that hand size, then they can't do anything. So there's that. So I think this is fine. I'm okay with that. Okay. Moving on. Gurgi? Did we get Gurgi? No, we did not get Gurgi. So let's we got Munchings and Crunchings. All right, so our boy Gurgi grabbing for that Munchings and Crunchings, trying to get that apple. 2-3. Okay, I know we talked about this card. Is he not in here? Nope. Okay. When you play this character, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. I'm so tired of seeing remove up to 2 damage and stuff like that. I hate it. I hate it because no one leaves damage on characters. There's no shift Gurgi. There's no. I just don't. This is a D tier card for me, unless I'm missing some grand interaction. Yes, it could work with Aurora, but unless I'm missing some grand interaction, I just don't see a world where you play Gurgi. So we're going. Where's Shift Rapunzel when you need her? We're going D tier with this one. Yeah, and that's true. That's true, Jeremy. Like the detective can be relevant for the action, and because there are we do have detectives that we can play, so it can be relevant for sure. So grand interaction. I'm missing something. I'm missing the reference on that one, David. I'll admit. Moving on to our next one. Beautiful Enchanted coming in here for our boy Simba. Really excited for Simba. Page 2. What do we got? Simba and Black Cauldron. So that is all of our Amber cards then. So we've got 1, 2. So where are we leaving off to tonight with Amber? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right, so we're on 30. So definitely almost done. I think we just have 2 more cards. I think it's 22%. Oh, Grand Pap. Oh, yes. Okay, I'm tracking. I'm on the same page now. So 30 cards for Amber. So we're definitely coming to an end on Amber for sure. We're getting close on Ruby, and we will try and finish this tier list up tomorrow, I think. And then I'm gonna the goal once I'm done with the tier list is make a video kind of talking about what we felt were the top cards coming out in this set, and then also what the weakest standout cards of the set, but definitely the top tier cards, and kind of see other people's opinions on in the comments. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is we can kind of do this with Ruby. That is where we're going to call it tonight, I think. And then again, like I said, we'll try and finish everything up tomorrow. So I'll try and get on a little bit earlier so we can finish this stream up. And then I think what we'll start doing with the stream is probably like every other day start streaming. Again, I've talked about it with Jeremy and everybody in the Discord. Like, really looking forward to getting into some Pixelboard and Connect games with everybody again and doing that. So Diablo stay winning as always, yeah. But looking forward to getting back to Pixelboard Connect games with people. I've got the hand cam going and everything, doing that and playing games with viewers and everything. So this is a lot of fun though. I got to admit, doing the tier list with the viewers versus what I used to do with these things, where I just kind of throw some cards up in a YouTube video and we'd rate them, or I'd rate them. Doing it with you guys is a lot of fun, and you guys remind me of a lot of interactions. So I really appreciate you guys chilling out with me while we kind of rock and roll through this. it's crazy to look at these A tier with Ruby matching the B tier. Like, come on, life's not fair. But and then we also have all of these D tier. But maybe I'm just really like biased against Amber because that's what I play so much of. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, have a great night. I again appreciate you being here. In the Discord, I'll let everyone know when I'll be getting on so we can talk about the last of the tiers and everything. And I will, and yes, Ruby did very much need the support, but we'll get going through it to get going with tomorrow. And then Jeremy, once you join us, we'll talk about some steel. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had fun. Remember though, nothing matters more. Make sure you do some push-ups, some squats, whatever it may be. Go for a run. Just stay happy and healthy, whatever it takes. It could even be pickleball. No one's going to judge you, all right? But yeah, I hope everybody has a good time, and I will see you all tomorrow. But I forgot yesterday. I'm not going to forget today, okay? I'm not going to forget today. We are going to raid somebody, okay? So let's get that going. Don't leave yet, guys. Let's bless the world with some raid action. I just have to remind myself how to raid. So stick with me. It's been a minute, okay? So we go to Twitch, we go to Disney Lorcana, and who do we have available to raid? We have Red Saber Games, Brian, Scyther's playing Pokemon, so that's not what we want. So Brian was chilling with us yesterday, so we can, you have 10 minutes to convince me not to play Toontown. And he's not even playing Lorcana, so we're not going to raid him. We're going to raid Red Saber Games, who looks to be playing some locals. So, well, hang on. Stick with me, guys. I'm figuring it out. All right, I promise. It won't be much longer. Oh gosh, there, raid channel. Okay, I've got this. We've got this, guys. You can kind of see what I'm going through over here. Same category. Red Saber Games. Start raid. All right, there we go, guys. All right. Again, appreciate you guys sticking around. Whoever wants to jump in and see what they're doing, they seem like they're having a good time at locals. So I appreciate you guys a lot. And again, as always, stay happy and healthy, and I will see you next time.